Join me now from New York City, founder of Geltrude & Company, Dan Geltrude. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. Dan, what do you make of this idea to vaccinate drunk young people leaving the nightclubs in New York City? Is this the right thing to do?
I was wondering when I was listening to the mayor speak if they've already tested out how alcohol and the vaccine mix together. Look, as long as they go together and you're going to do everything that you can to make it easier for people to be vaccinated, I guess that's okay. I mean, I think that people who want to get vaccinated will make the plans accordingly to do so. But apparently the mayor feels that they need to get out to the clubs and, well, do what they have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an interesting tactic. We've seen a lot of things come from de Blasio, like eating greasy French fries on television, telling people that they'll get free fries if they go get the vaccine, et cetera. Not an anti-vaxxer here, but I think people should make their own decisions, talk to their doctors, not listen to de Blasio. And I think that you should be sober when you go get the vaccine. You want to make the best decision for your health. And sometimes when you're intoxicated, you don't always make the best decisions, that's for sure. But as for New York waking up, things are starting to look like normal in the city a little bit. They're starting to see a little bit of tourism. But the hotel industry is still going to be hit hard, it looks like, because a lot of their business comes from conferences, work conferences, and those right now are kind of in limbo because a lot of people aren't technically ready to fully get back to work. As you know, so many people are working from home and things have changed. So instead of putting together these conferences, a lot of the workplaces are coming up with new ideas.
I think it has been a real challenge for hotels in New York City for many different reasons. At the height of the pandemic, approximately half of the hotels in New York City were shut down. So we have certainly come a long way, but the hotel business itself eventually will get back. But as you mentioned, lifestyles have now changed. People are not gathering, let's say, for business meetings just yet, at least not to the way we were pre-pandemic. They're using Zoom and other teleconference methods in order to get together. But I'll tell you this. I was in New York City a couple weeks ago at the Soho Grand Hotel, and for an event, actually, it was my son's engagement party. And I have to say that the people working at the hotel were clearly enthusiastic about having guests in. They want to get back to work. They want to get back to normal. And of course, what has stopped all this from happening is government. What a surprise, Stephanie.
Absolutely. And congratulations to your son and his engagement. Did you guys have to wear masks at that engagement party, by the way?
Actually, not at the party, but we did have to wear masks in the public areas, like in the lobby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying. I wanted to go over some numbers, too, about the hotel. So it says roughly 38% of New York hotels with loans and commercial mortgage-backed securities were at least 30 days behind on their payments. That's a big number, 30 days behind on the payments.
Yeah, that is quite troubling, especially when you compare that to the nationwide statistic of 15%. So New York is more than double in the amount of hotel owners who have gotten in financial trouble and unable to make their mortgage payments on a timely basis. But again, this is a trickle down of how when you shut down different aspects of the economy, it's going to, again, have a domino effect on other businesses.
Yeah. So I had some good news and some bad news. So the good news is that the economy added 559,000 jobs in May. The bad news is that it missed expectations. So I think that we'll see a change in this trend. As we know, some of the governors across the country are rejecting the extra federal help. This is to encourage workers to get back to work because a lot of business owners felt like they were competing against the federal government. Do you share this prediction?
I think that businesses are absolutely competing with the federal government. I see it constantly in when I'm out talking to people as well as dealing with my clients. It is difficult to find help. And let me say this. It is also, well, we have to make a correction here because Joe Biden was talking about creating these 500,000 plus jobs. He didn't create those jobs. Those jobs are just part of a restoration process. We are still way behind. You know, a lot of experts, economists were predicting that that jobs number was going to be close to 1 million. So we came in at less than 60% of that. So yes, was it positive news? I would say so, but it was a big miss as far as I'm concerned as to where we should be at this point. If the federal government got out of the way, I think we'd be doing a lot better.
Yeah, the federal government has to get out of the way. The businesses that were lucky enough to survive the pandemic, now dealing with this next hurdle, every business owner I've talked to tells me the same thing. It's like, we can't find employees, and it's really tough. Really quickly, I wanted to get to this story. It's a little bit of an eyebrow raiser. I don't know if you own an Alexa. I do. Alexa always seems to freak me out. It's always kind of like making noises and stuff when I'm not talking to it. That being said, so Amazon is now telling U.S. customers that they have a week to opt out of a mass wireless sharing program. That is, they want to use the Wi-Fi from your home now to like add to some sort of like system so that everyone who has the Alexas or like the video cameras outside of their house, they have like a stronger internet feed. So people can opt out of it on their Alexa app, but if you don't opt out of it, they're going to like automatically start using your Wi-Fi.
Well, that's the rub in this story, Stephanie, is that you have to opt out as opposed to the way it should be, which is to opt in. And why? Because Amazon Sidewalk, which is what this program is actually going to use or share your Wi-Fi services. Now, they're telling everyone why it's going to be great because it's going to improve service and things are going to get better. And that may very well be true. But how about the other side of this in terms of how much more could Amazon possibly surveil us? And you're right. You know, Alexa is doing its own thing while you're not even paying attention. So Alexa/Amazon is always listening. I am personally not comfortable with that. But I guess the conveniences that technology brings to all of us, well, there's a price to be paid. Is the price too high? For me, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of it. And so actually people have until tomorrow to get out of this tricky process to require to opt out. Why don't they make it like a process to like require to opt in instead? And so they were calling it like mesh networks. And I hear what they're saying, and like maybe that's brilliant and that's great. Okay, gives people more coverage. Okay, but what about privacy? And you're sort of like Alexa is just such an invasion of privacy to begin with, as we know. So it's just that you give like a mouse a cookie, they just keep going.
Well, that's true. I mean, Amazon, I've said for a very, very long time, Amazon is literally taking over the world for people who have various businesses that compete against Amazon. It is really a David and Goliath story, and I'm not so sure that David could be successful against the Goliath that Amazon is. So this is just another step to literally not just Amazon know what you're talking about. It's getting to the point, Stephanie, where they actually know how we think. They know what we want to buy before we do. This is scary, scary stuff.
It is. And it's a little bit confusing, too. Okay, so what I was talking about, the video cameras and stuff, they were talking about the Echo speaker and the Ring security camera. So they're saying that this mesh network would fix their connection problems for the smart home devices. But, like, don't people have their own internet for their smart home devices? So, like, was it that big of a problem? I don't know. And they don't really give any numbers or anything else on that. So, anyways, everyone who has an Alexa, you have one day to go get this done. So get on your app. Turn it off. That's my recommendation. Anyways, Dan, we're totally out of time. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Of course. Coming up next, Facebook is defending Trump's social media ban. We'll have